Hello everyone. Welcome to pgof's From 0 to 500 billion Navy Water Cooling Meta Guide. In the previous episode, we talked about how we built our defense system. Next, we'll build upon that and continue with damage teaching. I will demonstrate step by step how we started and how we ended up, and what the damage increase curve looks like. First, let's start by unequipping all the gear and slate from our body. It's empty now. Not right here. Now let's check the skills. No soul candle here. Soul candle is mainly for testing, hard to distinguish. Because of reducing seal mana for aura skills, we can start by uninstalling it, since we'll be activating the aura later. Then we'll put it back on. Found adaptation here. It's very nice. Now, let's go back to the initial version. The initial version is blood consuming axe. Let's equip it. I'll control the affix a bit. Control the suffix. There's no suffix. This is an axe. High shield chest armor. Later we'll talk about homemade chest armor and how to use it. Shield armor. Shoes. The 3-piece set is complete. Next is to find some ordinary jewelry. Now, let's go and test it on the dummy. I'll tell you about these affixes and how they amplify your current damage. Activate these auras. Activate precise projectiles. Activate weapon amplification. Let's activate 1. Precise projectiles. If don't want to switch gears, you can skip this. Now, let's calculate. Weapon is 1.35%. Extra attack speed is. Ink attack speed is scarce here. Not here. Here's 27 points. Machinist T got 21 points. So it's all pi on 5-4. Talent attack speed is 0.54. This one doesn't have overload. Don't worry about this one. Recklessness is equipped. Recklessness level is quite high in this strategy. You can take your time to look at it. Recklessness level is 15. Machine Army is 7.45%. There's a mistake here. It's 7.45%. Minions quantity is. Here, it's 5. Plus 2 Thunder Spirits, it's 7. Overload effect. We are about 400. Because we haven't equipped anything yet. Actually, this is unstable. Let's count it first. Empire effect. Excitation effect. We'll still look at talents. Look at this. Knowledgeable. Then here. Found so many here. It's approximately 65.5%. Gear attack speed. We haven't found any gear attack speed yet. Gear attack speed. Here it's written as 1 is from weapon amplification. So I should write it as weapon amplification. This should be written as 17%. This should be written as Here, it's 0. Weapon amplification hasn't been activated. Let me adjust this ink formula. We also need to add P14 multiplied by aura effect, multiplied by 1 plus aura effect. Now ink attack speed is 110%. None of the 4 tiers have been reached. None of the 3 tiers have been reached. Currently, it's like this. This is a relatively basic gear. What's left is dream interpretation. This dream interpretation is quite good. We're temporarily not using this one for now. Based on this current setup. Currently, this setup hasn't broken through the threshold. We'll go test it out. Next, I'll tell you. You can see the health isn't decreasing. See, the health just isn't decreasing because the weapon doesn't have a health draining effects. We're only relying on recklessness for health drain, and the tiers aren't enough. So right now, we can only hit 10, 100, 1,000, million, 10,000, 100,000, million, 13 million in damage. We only have 1 T1 black cost and ignite damage. And the rest don't have any useful affixes. The chest armor is energy shield. Next. On this basis, we've previously made a set with energy shield on the helmet, plus 1 spell skill level on gloves, and dream interpretation on the necklace, Ula energy shields. On top of that set, what should we prioritize? Suppose we're at 15 million. What we should prioritize is getting a separate control center. This increase at 15 million is very significant. We have 11% attack speed here. We can fill in 0.1 here. That's 11% attack speed. We haven't activated weapon amplification. Of course, activating weapon amplification is something we must do. Sealed mana. I'll figure out a way. I'll go buy a sealed mana soul candle. Generally, you can find 8% sealed mana on the helmet. Let's simulate it. Searched on the helmet. Let's get one on the soul candle. Find one. 8% sealed mana. Like this. This is to simulate our helmet. We found an 8% sealed mana on it. Then here, we can fill in the value of weapon amplification. 0.17. Now, we're still at tier 4. So, now, the conditions haven't changed. Still at tier 4. And just made some adjustments. 2 relics. Wait a moment. Didn't increase tier. Let me remove this first. Weapon amplification isn't activated. And damage has increased from over 15 million. 15 million to nearly 55 million, almost quadrupled. You could say it's almost 4.5 times. This is a hero relic. Now it's at 50 million. So how do we continue to improve now? First, let's activate the skills. First, let's find a way to activate weapon amplification. How do we do that? First, find sealed mana on the helmet. There should be some on our talent. In the process of finding slates, we'll also find some that will reduce some for us. Sealed mana. Let me find one. Precision control, Goddess of Deception's divinity. It's best to buy sealed mana for the Goddess of Deception's divinity. I'll just buy one randomly. We'll gradually improve based on the current setup. Slowly improve. Now we can activate weapon amplification. Activated weapon amplification. After activating weapon amplification, it's 17% more. So now at 55 million. Even with weapon amplification on, the tier hasn't changed. 55 million multiplied by 17% should be around 64,000. See. Now over 70 million. Over 70 million actually exceeds my calculation. The average below is correct. Around 60 million. Next, we definitely need to go up a tier. We're now just a fraction away from tier 3. Let's see what happens when we go up a tier. Going up a tier is simple. Increase overload effect. That'll raise the tier. For us, how much attack speed do we need to reach tier 3? Around 10%. So it's 21%, then let's change it to 21%. Still, didn't reach. So we need to add a bit more from the overload effect. Another bit of overload effect. Just use this one. Overload effect. Attack speed is enough. Plus overload effect. We're feeling the overload effect of 33%. Because the overload effect is here. Overload effect grants additional attack speed. See, by itself, it already has an additional 5% attack speed. See, here, because the overload effect will add extra damage, extra attack speed will also add extra damage here. See, so the overload effect is a very important thing. Overload effect. Let me fill it in. It must have leveled up. Here it's 21%. Just reached tier 3. Now the damage. The improvement from tier 4 to tier 3 is about. We can see tier 4 is 811. The improvement from tier 4 to tier 3 is about 25%. Just now it was 7.5 million. 7.5 million multiplied by 1.5 should be around 9.5 million. Plus the effect of overload, it should be 100 million damage. The effect of overload actually breaks the machine army. So, it's unstable. So actually didn't meet the expectations just now. Because our calculation just now assumed the overload would last continuously. We don't have enough double chance to make all summons ensure continuous overload effects. Because we, now, double chance. We don't have. I can show you. I don't have double now. Only the duration of overload can output for a period of time. Here, now. For example, tier 3. Tier 3 attack speed is 11 times. Then I'm looking for 15%. Double chance. Find 10%. Find 10% double chance. Mine. Coverage expectation is still low. 73% probability can be continuous. Always cover. Let me add another memory above. This is the attack speed. Let's find another one. Double damage probability plus overload effect. We must have looked for this in the early stage. And then find overload effect. Double damage probability. This might already be quite luxurious for the early stage. This way, we can definitely stabilize to 100 million. Look. Right. Stable to 100 million. Because overload is very stable. We just took two double probabilities. Now it's 22%. This is 22% attack times R11. Is tier 3. Expectation. Surely it can be completely covered. There is absolutely no problem. Now the damage is very stable, around 150 to 170 million. We'll start with first cat. Overload gains additional effects, and then cat get all three memories. Overload effect, or attack speed, or double chance. Of course, we can also not use double probability, because on the weapon can also find, because we don't have weapons now. Next we have to do the slash. Now this slate is not very good. Go find some slates. For example, +1 to all skill levels, and other skill levels.